Hi guys, this is Ian65. Promised you on Facebook I'd do a quick run through of the new FSLabs A320-X and basically give you my opinion on what I think. As you can see, we're sitting in the cockpit. We're on external power, as you can see up there. Everything's ready to go to look at, so let's dive in. First thing you notice is that the cockpit is I don't think it's still quite as nice as the Aerosoft one to look at. It all looks a little bit fuzzy here, you know, as I scan around here on the instrumentation. Whether you think that that's realistic or not, I don't know. I'm only here to give you my opinion and to tell you what I think of it initially. But I just don't think the cockpit's as nice as the Aerosoft so far. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the CDU, FMG controls, etc. First button here, if you press this MCDU button, this is the main menu, and you have the options. If you go into the options, it runs through. These are all fairly self-evident: the doors, engines, etc., etc. There's lots of different settings in here that you can manage. I'm not going to go through them all today because quite frankly I'm not quite sure of what some of them do myself, but you know, this is just an initial look through to familiarise yourself with what you're getting for an extremely expensive piece of software. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through what we do on any Airbus and try and set it up ready for flight. You know, you're familiar with all these controls and what they do. This is not dissimilar at all from the Aerosoft Airbus, so if you can fly that, you'll be able to fly this in no time. Okay, let's. What we're going to do is we're actually going to do a flight. We're going to set up a flight from Gatwick here to Glasgow up in Scotland, and I'm just going to run through how we do that in this FSLabs aircraft. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to we're going to go to the fuel, and the fuel for this flight in pounds is going to be £10,500. So we're going to go ahead and put that in now. Just type it in now. Click on where it says total. Click on now. That will change that, and it will automatically distribute it in the in our fuel tanks. Okay, finished there. Let's press on return, and we are now going to go to our payload page. This is slightly more complex than the Aerosoft loading. It does default at a crew of 6 there, and for this particular flight we've got 129 people, passengers on board. Okay, 129 passengers, so roughly 43 passengers. I'm just trying to make this as simple as possible. I'm just going to load 43 into each section of the seating in the aircraft. Okay, so 129 passengers, and then 129. Okay, so that's the passengers loaded in, and now we've got cargo of £8,290. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and distribute that between these CP1, 3, 4, 5. We're just going to make this simple. We're just going to put this, sorry, go back to 2.0. We're going to shove that one there, and we're just going to put £2,000 each one of these. So, right, now the interesting thing to note down here, before we go any further, is the zero fuel weight and the centre of gravity, which, as you can see, is up here. So it's worth just getting a pen, paper, or write it on your flight plan, 126.6/34.4. Centre of gravity, because we're going to use that in a moment. Okay, so we've loaded all our passengers in and cargo, so let's return out of there. Just one thing I will mention in the options is the units page. It's fairly self-explanatory there. You just set up your options, whether you want it pounds, kilos, Fahrenheit, centigrade, etc., etc. So it's probably worth going in there and just showing you that first. Okay, so another thing I'll show you in here is the external controls. We've basically switched these on before we shut the engines down. So we've got the GPU, the air starter, and the ground shocks connected. This disconnected just means click on that and it will disconnect it, which we'll do before the flight, obviously. Let's return out of there, and we are going to go back to the initialization page, which is here, and just like the Airbus, we're going to put in the normal information from and to, so let's go ahead and do that. So we're flying from EGKK, must put that / in, and we're going to EGPF. Okay, so type it in the scratch pad and then line select it into here. Okay, now just going to explain one thing. I set up flight plan for this in PFPX, and after trying to find out how to actually export this, I've managed to do that. One of the things it does do is it actually loads the entire flight plan into the FMC for you, and it's very little to actually put in there, but we will go through and check that. But you can see here that we're actually going to be departing on the LAM-2X SID, and there's a few of the other waypoints to start off with, just to double check you're the right flight plan. Okay, so let's come out of there. Okay, so we're gonna put a flight number in. It's an EasyJet flight, so we're just putting anything really. EZY252, and we'll just line select that towards its flight number. Okay, cost index, I don't know what it is. Let's just put in 50 for this exercise, and the flight level. Now this differs slightly on its input to the Aerosoft Airbus. All you need to put in here, our flight level for this flight is going to be 38,000 feet. So you literally just type 38 and line select it in. And and that gives you your flex temp. 7 degrees currently at Gatwick. Okay, so that's the init page. You can, if you look at the 2 arrows there, you can go across and you can put in, this is the next bit we need to put in. So once you've put all this information in, go across, use this right hand arrow to come across, and then this is where we're going to put our zero fuel weight in and centre of gravity. If you remember, I asked you to jot that down on the flight plan. Okay, so we're going to type in 126 decimal 6 / 34.4. Okay, and we're going to click on this right hand LSKR1, and that will put that in for us. Okay, so that will give us our takeoff weight and all the rest of the bits and pieces that we need for this. I have no idea what some of this is. I'm as new to it as you are. This is where it differs from the Aerobus, the Aerosoft Aerobus. Not sure if this stuff's in there. I'm not going to look. We're not going to worry. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to go back to flight plan. Now, the flight plan is exactly the same as it would do on the Aerosoft Airbus, but what we're going to do is we're going to check a few things. We're going to check that our flight plan has gone in here correctly. We're going to click on departures for Gatwick. We're just going to check that in fact the 26 left ILS has been actually picked up there. And we're going to go across and make sure that the correct SID has also been put in there. It has actually, you can see it up there, LAN2X. So we'll click across, and you can see that there's the list of SIDs, and I'm sure that if we go down or up, you'll see that LAN2X has already been selected into the SIDs. So let's go back now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the same for EGPF when we get up to Glasgow. We want to make sure we've got the right star. We click on there, and we're going to click on arrivals. Now, let me just check on my plan, make sure. Right, according to the flight plan PFPX, we're going to be arriving at ILS runway 23 on the Lana 1B. So, as you can see up the top here, there's the Lana 1B. It's already been put in for us. Let's just go and make sure that we're landing on runway ILS 23. Now you can see automatically there's something not quite right there. Whether this is because we're a little bit early on selecting a runway to land on or not, I don't know. Not quite sure here what's happened. It's got a star in there for Lana 1B, but it's not actually selected runway ILS 23. So we're going to go ahead and select that, click on that, and we're going to click on Insert. And that should now, if we go back in now, go to Arrivals page, you can see now that it's been selected, ILS runway 23, and our star is confirmed as Lana 1B. Click on Return. So we're just going to go through the flight plan now as we would in the Aerosoft, and we're just going to make sure that there's no discos. Okay, so far Right, there's one there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do what we normally do, is clear that off. So we click on clear, and we line select both side of it, and we're going to now move this, the next one before or after it up. So we click insert, and now this goes gone, and we have got a line there from LANAC, top of the assembly, acceleration, etc. So we'll carry on through the flight plan to make sure there's nothing else missing or this goes popping up. Okay, so that's all okay. We can scroll through the flight plan. Actually, this is one thing I like. It's not in here, so you can actually click on these panels and bring them up. So we can go through the flight plan and make sure that there are no discos in there. But I'm happy with that at the moment. I'm not going to go into that. You know how to do that. Okay, next thing we need to do is go into the performance page, and what we're going to do here is, first of all, when we take off today, it's going to be flaps 1. So click on 1, line select it into where it says flaps, and now what we're going to do is we need to get the V1, VR, V2 speeds. All you need to do is click on the button on the side of it, comes down here, click on it again, same with that one, and same with the V2. Okay, so that's that done. This is on there, we've taken off runway 26 left. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up here, and we're going to put in the V speeds, the rotation speed, which is going to be 136 V2 speed, as you would do in the Airbus, and we're going to be taking from 26 left, which is actually 258. Dial that one in to there, and right. Just coming a bit closer. Okay, so those of you who don't know, you can change this between feet and thousands of feet. So just right click that, and then I'm just going to put it into 38,000. I know obviously ATC is going to clear you, etc., but just for what we're doing here, it's been 38,000. Okay, so if you're happy with that, you've got your V2 speed 136, your runway course 258, and your altitude. You can go ahead and left click that, and that, and that. Okay, notice here since it comes up new cruise altitude 38,000. Just clear that off. You can go through these phases, all managed. That's the approach reference, so that we can QNH in temperature, etc. That's about the displays there, and the last page will go around. Let's put that back there. Okay, so put in all the information that we need here. We can this direct button does exactly the same as it does in the Aerosoft. You can scroll through here and go from one direct waypoint to another if you like, instead of having to delete them from your flight plan through your flight management computer. You can just click on one and it'll ask you to confirm, and wherever you are it'll jump straight. That will be then, this will make it the next waypoint. Progress page, very self-explanatory, airport page, fuel, all this stuff will come to life when we take off. ATC is not good. Okay, so let's leave that. So let's just leave that on the flight plan now. Okay, so there's a few other bits and pieces to set up in the cockpit. Let's go ahead and do those. Right, so if you come up here, first thing we're going to do, bearing in mind we're on auxiliary power at the moment, external power I should say, we're just going to turn the fuel pumps on. Just click those. Basically anything up here there's a white you need to look at, so you just scan up and across. These are the fire, engine fire and APU fire control units. We're doing a test on that at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to put seatbelts on, no smoking signs on, the emergency exits are already armed. What else do we need to do up here? Let's have a look. We'll go and test these fire control units. I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so you literally just press the test button for each one. Simple as that, really. Nothing too exciting there. If you do start from cold and dark, let me just come over. Right, if you do start from cold and dark, unlike the Aerosoft Airbus, I believe, the ADIRs here have to be turned on in sequence. So you have ADR 1, 2, and 3. So what you have to do is put number 1 to nav, come across here, put 2 to nav, and then number 3 to nav. And obviously they do it in sequence, and these lights will go off to signal when they're aligning. And I think you can have it sort of instant to align, or you can have it realistic. It's entirely up to you. It's in the settings. We'll go into that another time. The rest of the stuff doesn't really need to be set. It's already set for us. Obviously you can have a play around with different bits and pieces. We don't need to do anything for the moment. There's the beacons on, why? Because I didn't shut it off earlier, that's why. Before I started the video. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to look at first thing we're going to do is close the doors actually, so let's go back down there. Okay, so just using the right hand MCDU, just going to options, doors, let's just close this lot up for now. Okay, so that lot's closing. Now, what we can do is just come down. Okay, this is all completely functional. So if you click on the door panel page, you can see now the doors have in fact closed. There's our fuel page. You can see that we loaded in £10,500. And that's that. Electrical system, the APU, well at the moment we're external power, as you can see there, there's no power coming from generator 1 or 2, i.e. from the engines. Okay, so before we start the engines, we're just going to do a couple of other silly things down below here. Let's have a look. Right, this is weather control. We're not going to turn that on yet because we don't want to radiate any of the ground crew, so we're going to leave that for the moment. What we are going to do is set the transponder. Let me just get a better view of that. Right, okay. First of all, we're going to turn this top switch on to the right, and the bottom one's already on the right, and TCAS is in standby mode. What we're going to do, the only way to type in your transponder code here initially is to press the clear button. If you try and over type what's in there, nothing comes up. So you have to press the clear button to get rid of that. And then basically, let's just put in anything in there, 2, 5, 4, 3, and press ident, and that's that done. Okay. Now we will set the TCAS to TARA before we take off, and we will also set the trim. I did try changing the trim before. You can't actually do that until you start the APU and the engine's running, apparently. I'm sure one of you will tell me if I can't. Obviously make sure that the radios are on, both sides. Let's just come back up now. Right, so anyway, the radios are all set on, all the doors are shut. What else do we need to do? Think, Ian. Oh yes, I know what we need to do. I haven't actually got anything open for weather at the moment, so I have no idea what QNH is, but I'll just show you how to change it. Obviously, you've got inches of mercury, and hectopascals. Unlike the Aerosoft Airbus, you have to change both sides. So let's assume that the QNH is 1020. No, that's wrong. It should be about 220 feet. So let's just guess that for a moment. Well, it was set to 1013 anyway. Okay, so you have to manually change both of these over on either side, captain and co-pilot. They don't change with just one. And obviously you've got the same range buttons here, knobs, switches, whatever you want to call them. Let's just leave that one on arc. So we've got some slight difference there. Okay, so that's that set. So I'm not going to go for a load of checklists because I just haven't really got time to do all that. I know how to set this thing up and check it. I'm not doing it entirely to the book, but I'm just trying to give you a feel of what this thing's all about. Now, just before we go any further, we'll just click on the VAS. I've got a Flight Simulator VAS Monitor Project Fly running, and at the moment VAS is at 69%. I haven't put AS16 and ASCAR on We are sitting at Gatwick under UK 2000 scenery, and I've got Envatex, but I'm not running that because obviously that works in sync with ASCAR and AS16. So none of that's running. I'm using the same settings that FSLabs recommend in their PDF instructions file. So I'm kind of hoping, because my main bugbear seems to be the VAS, so I'm kind of hoping that this thing's going to go on. I've just updated it to the latest version that came out beginning of February for FSLabs. So I'm on that. I've rolled back the NVIDIA to the one in December. So I should be kind of going in the right direction with this, but I still seem to have a lot of problems with VAS. Whether it's to do with my system, whether I've missed something, I don't know. But here we are anyway. So at the moment, as I said, VAS is at 69%. Right, let's go ahead and finish off setting this stuff up, ready for taxiing. So the next thing we need to do, we've made sure that everything up here is white, ready. So we're going to turn on the fuel pump. So what we're going to do now is we're going to turn on the APU master switch. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click on this starter button to start the APU. Now if I come back down to this panel here, you should see the APU start to fire up, which again is exactly the same as the Aerosoft. You're all used to this. You sit there and wait for it to reach 100% before we go on. Isn't this jolly? Right, come on, hurry up, I've got all day. Okay, so you can see that the APU generator is beginning to, that's where you go, it's available. You've got power in there now. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back up. And you can see that up here in a line of the APU is the APU bleed. So we now need to turn that on. Before we do that, actually, we're going to turn the beacon on. And we're now going to turn on the APU bleed button. Okay, so this off engine 1 bleed button has now gone off, both off. This will say fault until we start the engines, as you well know. So will they as well. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to get rid of the external power, because we're running off the APU now, so that can go off. So we click that button, goes back to being available. Right, okie dokie. So next thing we need to do is arm the ground spoilers, pressing that forward. So we're now going to what we're going to do is we're going to go to these external controls now. We're going to disconnect all this stuff because we don't need it. Okay, I'm going to quickly turn that for a moment. Now, one thing this doesn't do, that the Aerosoft does, is when you take off the wheel chocks, it doesn't, the brake's still on, so you haven't got to mess around keep putting that on, annoying GSX, etc. Okay, so we're gonna now start the engines. Everything else is ready to go. Okay, so what we're going to do is the usual thing. We turn the ignition switch to start by right-clicking it. Now, the thing that differs on these engine starts, actually, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get GSX to push us back first. So let's just hang on a sec. Right, okay, so we better wait for this guy to push us back first. So let's just have a jump outside and have a look at him. Sorry, I had GSX sounds turned off, so we're just going to... Oh, hang on a second, let's get rid of that jetway. Okay, that's one thing you can't do externally, is release parking brakes. You have to actually go in here and do it.
Release parking brakes.
Okay, so we can start at will now. So let's put this back onto the engine, and what we're going to do is I've put the ignition switch over to start. Now what you have to do with this, you're going to start engine 2 first. You actually have to get to, you can't just click, oh you can click it actually, I'm lying through my pants. What I've had to do recently is actually right click it first, then left click it. But for some reason I just right clicked it and it started, so okay, that's all good. So monitoring the engine start. Does the same stuff as the Aerosoft. You're all used to it, you all know how it works. Some eagle eyes amongst you might notice that for some reason down here at Gatwick on UK 2000 I've lost some scenery. I don't know why, it's probably because I've had to dumb down my settings here. So I don't know what's happened there. The rest of the airport seems to be there, apart from that bit. But doesn't matter. We're only having a look at this today. Nothing too serious. Okay, let's jump back inside. It's going to ask us to put the brake back on.
Set parking brakes.
Okay, so we put that on. I'm going to start the other engine now, engine 1. So that's firing up.
Unlocking gear.
So this is another thing that you guys might have picked up. I don't think that the external model is quite as nice and pretty as the Aerosoft one, but it's growing on me. It's okay. I'm not gonna cry over it too much. It's functional.
Right is clear.
Okay, so there we are. We're all started up. Right, so there's a few pre-flight checks that we've got to do. First of all, I'm going to turn on the... what am I going to do first, Ian? I'm going to put the flaps on to 1, and I'm going to turn the ignition switch off, and then TCAS. Hang on a second. We're going to switch TCAS to TARA above. Now, the next thing we must do is we must set the trim. Now, how do we do this? How do we set the trim up? How do we know what the trim is? Okay, so what we're looking for is we're going back to our old trusty centre of gravity. Do you remember we wrote down the zero fuel weight and the centre of gravity? Well, we need the centre of gravity now to set our trim. Now, in the FSLabs PDF files, there's a takeoff, a centre of gravity stroke trim position graph there, which helps you to determine roughly where the trim should be set for takeoff. So basically then, if we look over here on the wheel, you'll see that actually let's get a better view of that. Hang on a sec. Right, okay, we can look down on it from here. Hang on a second, let me zoom in a bit. Okay, this tells you the centre of gravity here, up or down. So you've got down 1, down 2, 0, up 1, up 2. Now our centre of gravity for this flight is 34.4. So looking at 34.4 on the graph, which obviously I can't show you but you need to have in front of you, our trim position should be set to nose down, and it's about 1 1/4 down. So what we're going to do is we're going to move that to 1 1/4 down. Actually, I'm going to go back to the look at the other side. Hang on a second. Because what I'm trying to show you is where the 0 was. And the 0 was actually here. Okay, so we're moving this wheel up in line with this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to carry on moving that until see this point here? So this arrow here is 0 when we start. Okay, so this is the down, this is the up. So if you're following this, and I think someone did do a video on this, all you need to do is, in conjunction with your takeoff, centre of gravity, trim position, work out whether it's up or down, and then just move it until you are there. So that's 1 1/4. Okay, so 1 1/4 down from this mark is there. Okay, so that's our trim set. That's all we need to do. If you understand the principle, you're going to have no problems at all. Okay, so let's just run through this then. We've set our flaps, our speed brakes are armed, our TCAS is set, our radios are on, our weather multi-scan is set to off at the moment because we don't want any radiation being emitted while we're on the ground. Let's have a look. Now, another thing you can do is see this clear button. If you clear that, that will clear the no blue TO config stuff, so that you must clear that each time you do something. If there's something up there that you have to do, you have to come down and clear that. So as you can see up here at the moment, when we start taxiing, we're going to auto brake to max, then test the TO config. That will go. All these blues will go off. One of the things we can do now actually is we can turn the APU off because we've finished with that. Our engines are started. The way in which we do that is first of all go up to the APU bleed, switch it off, and then come down to the master APU switch it off, and then this light will extinguish in a moment. While we're here, we're going to set the nose light to taxi. And what else do we need to do, Ian? We need to put on the probe window heat button. That's it. So that's all we need to do up there. Obviously anti-ice as required. Everything else has gone out now. There's no lights on there. Generators, the air conditioning, the packs, they're all sorted, all running. Everything's hunky-dory. Okay, so that's where we're at. I'm not sure if I've forgotten anything. If I have, I'm sure you're going to tell me. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start taxiing this beast out to 26 left. So the first thing we're going to do is take the brake off. Now, one other thing I need to tell you. Being as this is fairly realistic, as realistic as it gets, so I'm told, you can only steer using the rudder a maximum of 6 degrees. So what you need to do to bypass that, because obviously you've got this tiller here, is you need to, as you kind of taxi and you want a corner, you kind of press and hold down the comma button, and it gives you that little bit more full turn to taxi. So let's see if I can codge that up completely, and we'll go ahead and try and do some taxiing. So let's see how this goes then. Oh, actually, one of the things I'm going to skip it because you know you do it anyway. Was the no? Let's do it properly. Let's do it properly. Hang on a second. Right, yeah, let's do this properly. So we're going to test the flight controls. So as we normally do in the Aerosoft, we're going to go full left, full right, full up, full down, and then we're going to test the rudders, full left, full right, all hunky-dory. Okay, so let's go back to, let's just leave that on engine for a moment. Engine, there it is, I can see now. Okay, so let's start taxiing and see how it goes. I'm using a Satec X52 stick and throttle, just so that just in case you wanted to know that. So let's see how this goes. So I've just got to remember that when we get up here, I've got to press the comma down. I'm not sure if you have to press it and hold it. I don't think so. I think you just press the comma once, and then that should give you full flexibility to use your stick as a full rudder to turn left. So let's see how that goes. I'm actually going to do the comma now. Okay, so I codsed that one up. I'm still not sure about that. I need to read up on it. I pressed the comma, nothing happened. It seems to be that when you try turning left and then you press the comma, it then works. But I don't know. Someone tell me. Someone. I haven't done enough reading on this because I've been away. So someone will tell me, I'm sure. Let's try it again just for a laugh. Yes, no, I'm not following the yellow line because I'm having problems turning. Okay, let's try and come over here. Not sure why the auto brake max blue hasn't gone out. Oh, here we go again. Okay, I've no idea what happened there, so I'll have to read up on that. Let's just put the parking brake on for a second. Right, what I'm concerned about here is the auto brake max, which I pressed several times, hasn't gone out for some reason. The TO config test, I can't remember why that doesn't go out, because my checklist on the Aerosoft obviously isn't here. So never mind, we won't worry about that. Right, that's why. Silly me. I was thinking it was the brakes, but it's not. It's because I hadn't clicked on this auto brake max for when we take off. And I can't TO config, right, there it is, there's the button there, hang on, let's press on it, normal, okay, so we've managed to do that. So that's how we get rid of the two blues. Obviously a little bit out of practice, I've been flying other aircraft, that's my excuse. Okay, so that's that done. I think we're more or less ready to go here. Let's turn on the landing lights. And we'll turn the nose to tack to take off as well. Don't think there's anything else that needs to go on now. We're all set. Okay, now I did have a bit of problem taking this thing off because the normal procedure is to push the stick forward and hold it forward until you reach V1 rotate speed. Stop the nose coming up, but I kind of messed that up last night, so let's just see how it goes. Let's get lined up first. Okay, so it seems that when you actually turn your joystick rudder and hold down the comma, that's what accelerates the turning. Pretty sure that's the way it goes, but okay, let's just line this thing up properly. Right, here we go then. I'm going to stick the throttle fully forward and let's try and keep the nose straight down the centre line and gently push the stick forward to stop the nose lifting. One thing I've noticed here is that don't seem to get the V1 rotate V2 call-outs. I'm not sure quite how that works, but there we go. We're coming up for rotation. Oh, here you are. Trying to do too many things at once there, sorry guys. But anyway, we're in the air. Let's bring up the gear. And I'm going to stick it in autopilot, AP1, and let's have a look. As ever, we've got this lever here, so we're going to pull that back to climb thrust. Sorry, I was jiggling it about there. It's not quite as easy to get it back without looking at it. Just have to keep making sure that this thing doesn't just hit speed now. It should actually say climb thrust. Let me just hang on a second. Oh, I don't know. I'm sure somebody will point it out. Normally it says climb thrust there. But when you look down here, it's in the right dent. It's in the right climb dent. So I don't know. Perhaps in the real Airbus it just says climb speed, but it's doing what it should do. So you can see it's following the course. A couple of things we haven't done. Flaps and disarm the speed brake. The ignition switch is normal. TCAS is set. We're now going to put on the multi-scan, the weather radar. I'm just going to put that on to auto. I'm going to stick it on to system 1. Don't know why. I have no idea. Don't really care at the moment. We're going in the right direction. Everything seems to be working alright. I will turn the terrain on ND just because I can. Yeah, everything seems to be hunky-dory and fine. Oh, by the way, on this Airbus, realistically, you can have the terrain on ND1, but on the other side, you have to actually click the co-pilot side to get that working, whereas it works for both clicking one on the Aerosoft model. Right, sorry, I forgot to turn the lights off, so you can go off. Beacons on. I've forgotten to put the strobe on. Well, I haven't actually, because it's actually, there's the off position. It was actually in auto, so it would have known to put it on anyway. But we'll just leave it on. But I'm sure auto works just as well. Nothing else needs to be done over there. Oh, by the way, there's a nice little touch. You can actually do this on the Aerosoft one as well. If you click there, a little standby compass drops down. How many of you knew that? Come on, put your hands up. Right click it. Oh, sorry, left. Hang on. Can't get it up there now. There you go. There he goes. Yeah, okay, so we're following our star out of here. No, we're not. We're following our standard, oh god, instrument departure, SID, getting them mixed up there. So we can pull the range out. You can see here that we're going to come up here, turn left, maintaining our height as per the SID restrictions here. You can mess about with this. You can have it on ARC. You can have it on plan, sorry. VOR and in system. I don't think those yet. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, guys. You know, when we get above 10,000 feet, obviously we click this and go to standard. And there really isn't a lot else to show you. The landing system I'll probably look at if I ever get to land this thing, if it doesn't run out of VAS. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else I can really show you guys that you don't already know. I'm sure I've messed up a few things. Hey, I'm not a real world pilot, I'm just having fun. So, you know, let's have another look out here. Well, my scenery doesn't look too bad at the moment. I'm using Orbex, and considering how much I've turned it down, it looks alright at the moment. Yeah, it's alright. It's nothing special. I'm not totally happy with the way things are. It looks a bit blurry down there, but I don't know. Things will improve. I mean, I'm only running an i7-4790K with a GTX 780 and 16 gigs of RAM. So, you know, I think you guys have obviously got a lot more powerful stuff than I have. Yeah, I can't afford $3 for another system at the moment. But yeah, it's all looking okay. As you can see, the thing's flying. I'll tell you what I will do. I will just check before I go. Let's have a look at the VAS. Well, the VAS is actually not as bad as I thought. It's 74%. So something's going in the right direction. Whether having AS16 and ASCAR on Vembertex has a difference in impact, I don't know. You know, I've turned everything down to their settings, so you know, we just see how it goes. It's an ongoing struggle. I'm not a great fan of this over the Aerosoft, to be honest with you. I can fly both. I'm not cast iron with the procedures because I'm just being lazy today. But you know, you guys get to have a look at this thing anyway, without forking out £133. Yes, £133. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to see how long this thing flies, whether it actually gets to Scotland or not, and we'll go from there. Anyway, I'm not a real world pilot. I do this for entertainment. I love it. I've got a couple of Facebook pages. I'll put those in the comments if you want to join up. If you've got any questions, fire away. Please don't shoot me because you know, there's probably lots of things I don't know about it. I prefer BMDG and all that sort of stuff, but hey, this isn't bad, but it's not Aerosoft. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you soon.